Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Prevail with Justice. I am your girl, Geraldine. How are you today? Are you doing well? Check in with yourself. All is well over here on this side, and I hope the same for you. If you are new here, welcome to the family. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, okay? Because we don't gatekeep around here. We don't gatekeep. So if you listen to the last episode, then you know that in this season, baby, I am clearing out these notes. And this is yet another part to that. So, part two, episode two of clearing out the notes, whatever you want to call it. So, what I have for you today, y'all ready for this title? It's called Use What You Have. All right? Use what you have. So, I love watching like stories of redemption. And essentially this is kind of where like the idea sparked. Um, I believe it was made where I got this quote from, but I found it in my notes called and I had in quotes the luxury of time. And I believe it was in the Netflix series Made. If you have not watched Made, please go watch it. Please go watch it. It's like the female version of Pursuit of Happiness, but it's a series. It's really, 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 really good. It is triggering for some people, but there are disclaimers on the series and on each episode. But overall, the storyline is absolutely amazing. It's I don't want to tell you too much about it, but basically, it's about um, this young lady who has a child. She's in a committed relationship, and the relationship becomes very toxic, and her mom and dad are not around to really help. So she's basically helping raise her parents and her child and herself. And she's a writer, had all of these good things going for her, but she had her child, fell into this relationship. And so basically, she leaves with nothing but like little to nothing in her pocket, like literally two digit numbers, like $20, if that, in her pocket. And she has to build from the ground up from there to create a life for her and her daughter. Super inspiring story. Always motivates me. So if you feel like you are low in life, watch that video to find some strength. Okay. So with that, watching that, at some point in the series, one of the characters tells another one that they have the luxury of time. And when I heard that quote, I just had to pause the show. And I was like, dang, like having time really is a luxury, and most of us waste it. So, for myself during the pandemic, I feel like I really wasted that time. I feel like I wasted it. I didn't do anything productive. For the most part, I slept. Okay. I worked out. I cooked. I ate. And that was pretty much it. While most people were starting businesses and things like that, I was just wasting time and wasting money. Um, but I learned from that, and I feel like maybe I needed that break. But time is a luxury, and a lot of people don't have that. So, with that being said, use what you have. Pursuit of Happiness. He had those density bone scanners, and he was going to do everything he had to do to get the bone density scanners back from the people that took them from him. That's all he had. That in that one suit. And y'all remember when he got hit by the car and the shoe fell off and he couldn't get another shoe, and he went into the interview without a shoe, went into work without a shoe. You got to use what you have and stop making excuses. You got to keep showing up. So, with that being said, there are three types of currency for success. In order to be successful, there are three things that go into it, and that is time, money, and knowledge. To me, those are all forms of currency. Knowledge makes you valuable, money can propel you based on how you use it, which is based on knowledge, and the way that you spend your time can get you both, one or both of the other two, which is time and money. I mean, money and knowledge. If you use your time correctly, you can have time. Lord, you can't buy more time. I'm sorry. If you use your time correctly, you can gain more money and more knowledge. And if you lack one, you can use one to gain the other. Boom, there we go. So it's a leverage system. Most people never have all three. The average person does not have all three. And so, with that being said, I feel like we've become so desensitized to how precious and valuable time, money, and knowledge are. But time is the most valuable of the three, in my opinion. Why? Because we don't have a time machine. There's not a time machine, there is no time store. Mary J. Blige said 25/8. Baby, we don't have another day or another hour. I wish we did, but we don't. So we cannot get time back. If you're tired, you can take a nap or, drink some caffeine. You can get energy back. Because it's not energy is energy can never be created or destroyed. It is only reused. So you can get more energy. You can take a nap, you can rebuild, you can refuel. If you're low on money, you can go DoorDash, you can go clock in at work, you can pick up shifts, you can borrow from a friend. But baby, you cannot pick up more time. You cannot do that. You can't go back and redo things in time. You just can't. It keeps going. It keeps going and it is slipping away. It is slipping away. Time is slipping away. So you can't get it back. And so when you think of people who are successful, they have the same 24 hours as the people at the bottom of the tax bracket, like lowest of the low. They also have the same 24 hours as people that are like middle class in between. And they have the same 24 hours as the people at the very top and the elites. Like we all have the same 24 hours because you cannot change time. So, what is the difference between who they are, where they are, how they are, and us, the people trying to get there? The difference is how they spend their currency, how they spend their time, how they spend their money, and how they spend and exert their knowledge. Okay, so let's get into it. You're probably sitting there now like, okay, Geraldine, you shared this, but girl, what is your point? What are you trying to say? We have time, we have money, we have knowledge. Okay, so what? All right, so stop using the lack of one of these three things as an excuse to not handle your business. Stop using the lack of money as an excuse to not chase your dreams. If you have knowledge and you have time, if you have knowledge and you have money, essentially you can finesse your way to where you can create a bracket in time where you'll have more of it. You see what I'm saying? It's all an equation, it is all a leverage system. So stop making excuses. Stop using one of those as a crutch to keep you in a space of normalcy, okay? And a space of unfulfillment. All right? It's time to get up, friend. It's time to make some changes. All right. It is time to make changes. So if you lack time, you can exert money and knowledge to complete your goal. All right. So for example, say you want to start a blog or a podcast or something of the sort. Okay. Because for these examples, I'm going to use myself as the model. If I am working full time, I am whatever, I just don't have time. Literally, I don't have time. When I write out things that I have going on, I don't have a lot of time. People have time, they just spend it doing things that make them feel good. If you're not where you want to be in life, baby, you don't have time to feel good. You have a little bit to treat yourself because mental health is important, emotional well-being is important. But essentially, if you got places you're trying to go and things you're trying to do in the next 20 years, We got to move. We don't have time to be sitting down, binge watching Netflix when we get off work. Oh, I'm tired. But then every time you get up, you complaining about something in your environment that you don't like. Let's get up and make a move. We got things we can do. We have choices, and there are ways. Where there is a will, there is a way. And by will is willpower. Get some willpower. Okay. If you don't have any, I'm going to link a video in the description box from Improvement Pill. I love Improvement Pill. And it's going to tell you how to get more willpower, how to increase that. But back to what I was saying, if I do not have a lot of time to start a new venture, but I want to do it, don't limit yourself by saying, oh, I don't have any time. I want to start this podcast, but I don't have any time. When am I going to do it? All right, let's pump our brakes. What do you have? You have the money to exert, and you have the knowledge to put out on a platform. Okay. So if you can't physically go record or set something up how you want to, what can you do to get you to that place? Start a blog. You can do that sitting at your desk at work, depending on the type of work that you do. You can do that. You can start writing out episodes. You can also probably write for somebody else to put the message out. But if it's you, you can always create a plan to get where you want to go. Start somewhere. If you want the podcast, start blogging first. Start writing it out, creating posts, putting it out on Facebook, recording yourself sitting in the car on your lunch break. Just start recording yourself and make videos. And then when you've been consistent enough in that you start to get paid and you can wean away from the place that you're working, now you've literally bought yourself more time, because now you have the time to go do what you actually want to do. You see what I'm saying? Is the mathing? I hope it is. That right there is what I call potential outsourcing. You're using, well, it's not outsourcing. Outsourcing is hiring someone else to do what you need to do. So, outsourcing example, we'll get to that in a second. But you have now used your money and your knowledge to buy more time in the future, and that required you to start somewhere. For example, if something that you need to do is like if you get overwhelmed, like cleaning up your house and things like that, you have money and you have knowledge, but you don't have the time to spend how you want to. Outsource. Hire somebody to come clean that house. Buy a nanny, to hire a nanny or somebody, a babysitter, to watch your kids while you get the things done that you need to get done. You see what I'm saying? And in that case, you're going to buy yourself more time because you're outsourcing. Like that's a thing. And I feel like we should talk about it more often. But we'll get back to that. So, next example, if you lack money, but you have knowledge and you have time, get creative. Literally get creative. Y'all don't understand, like, creativity goes so far beyond sheer talent. Creativity is the usage of your mind to create, like, to put something together that the ordinary person would not have done. This set that I have right now is sheer creativity and using what I have, and a blessing from God. Like, thank God for this opportunity, right? But I got creative. I'm using my time and I'm using my knowledge. You see what I'm saying? You can build something when you use something. Like, you have to give in order to get to receive. Does that make sense? Is the mathing? So with that being said, you can't necessarily buy time, but in a way you can. If you lack something, rely on the others. If one of your senses go out, you're going to rely on the other ones to overcompensate for what you lack. So you need to use that same principle with your life. You have 3 resources and 3 objectives to essentially create a life of excellence using what you have. So if you work with what you have to get where you want to go, you'll eventually get there. But if you just keep making excuses for what you don't have, you will never have it. So use something to get something. So with that being said, we want to create a life of excellence, right? That's the whole goal here on this podcast. We're talking about life, we're talking about purpose, and we're talking about how to be effective in life and how to achieve and excel in purpose and in life in multiple different areas. And if you want to grow and change, you must implement changes in the most important areas. The most important areas. Everything in life that can cause us problems, 9 times out of 10, all goes back to time, money, and knowledge. Time, money, and knowledge. Whatever you know and whatever skills you acquire, what skills you have, what things you're able to do, is going to bring you revenue, money. And if time is money, money is also time. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna get the biggest bang for your buck when you're using two of the three to get the other one. You see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. But essentially, as I wrap up, I want you to think about how you use your resources. How do you spend your time? How do you spend your money? If you have knowledge, how are you using it? Even if you went to college and you're not working in your field, you still experience so many different things in organizations and even learning how to navigate college. Um, that that is something that makes you valuable in this world, in your life, in your world, and to your family and the people that you are surrounded by in your environment. How can you use those things to get you to where you want to go? How? If you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of time, start somewhere. Use something. Something. I saw a video the other day, and the young lady was saying that she wants to create content, but she feels like it's not like her life is not interesting. Baby, just cut the camera on. It's literally that simple. Cut the camera on. Just cut it on. And as you start to do something and you start to move, I believe it's called the law of affirmative action. I believe I've talked about it before in another podcast. Once you start to move and progress in the direction of the goals that you have, the things that you want to do, the life that you want to create, more doors, opportunities, thoughts, and processes are going to come to you to be able to make that happen. Literally, it's that simple. Just start moving. Use what you have to start working, and the rest will fall into place. And as I'm saying that to you all, I'm saying that to myself as well. Start where you are, use what you have, and the rest will fall into place. You ever notice that you be so worried, so focused on worrying about something that you don't realize it came together? Like you was able to make it work. You're still okay. You're still good. You made it happen. You're not lacking. If it's happened once, it can happen again. It really can. God's got you and you got you. All right? So don't be discouraged. Don't lose your mind. Use your resources and use what you have to get where you want to go. If you want to change the way your body looks, but you don't have the money to go to the gym or to go here, baby, start in your living room, in your bedroom, on the floor. There are so many free resources on YouTube, on Pinterest, on Google on how to transform your body at home. You better go back to the basics of gym class. We didn't have all them machines. Baby, we did sit ups, push ups, and ran around and squats, lunges right there in the gym, right there on the track. Go back to the basics. It don't have to be elaborate, it does not have to be extra. Just do something, move towards the goal, and the rest will work itself out. Do you hear me? Good. I'm so glad we had this conversation. I love you so much, and I want so badly for you to succeed and achieve the life of your dreams and fulfill your purpose in this life and in this journey. And I don't want you to hold yourself back from what you want for one thing that you lack when you have more present. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's all I have for y'all. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And I also want to say, forgive me for not closing out the previous episodes in the right way. That was very much all that negative self chatter. It still happens. Yep. Um, but we're here now. Okay. We're here and we're getting it together. And so guess what? We finna close it out right. What are you supposed to remember? That where the spirit guides, the mind creates, and where your mind goes, baby, that body gonna follow. I will catch y'all in the next episode. I love you. Have an amazing day, and I will catch you next week.